Hey YouTube, what's going on? Snowflarky's Emos here today with my Blue Eyes Master Duel deck profile. Blue Eyes White Dragon, of course, Kaiba's iconic monster from the Duel Monsters era, and a favorite Yu-Gi-Oh classic of mine. So every once in a while, I gotta bust out Blue Eyes. Now, Blue Eyes trap control is kind of what I would consider the best way you could be playing Blue Eyes on Master Duel. It does rely on you winning the coin flip, but Blue Eyes just doesn't have a ton of crazy combos that stop your opponent from playing the game. So I find it a lot better to supplement Blue Eyes' large attack stats with just really powerful trap cards like Summon Limit and Skill Drain that they synergize really well with to just slow an opponent down. And when an opponent is slowed down, then the Blue Eyes is a lot more threatening. So with that said, let's get into the card by card. First off, I'm playing 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. In my previous build, I was only playing 2, but I've bumped it up to 3. You definitely always want to see this card, and having 3 is kind of nice because I do find it's pretty easy to get all of them pretty much on the field, and of course with Called by the Grave being so popular, the 2 of them made it more punishing when one would get called by. So, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons is very nice. It's 3,000 attack monster, which is big, and it's Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is important for a lot of the other cards in the deck. Next, I'm running 1 White Stone of Legend. It's a level 1 Dragon Tuner, which, if this card's sent to the graveyard, adds Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck to our hand. Nice, gets us Blue Eyes, Synchro, Potential, good stuff. Next, I'm playing 3 White Stone of Ancients. Once returned during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from the deck. Now that can include Blue Eyes White Dragon, or of course our Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, which is a really powerful boss monster that we have access to in this deck, and it makes a great addition to the Blue Eyes strategy in general. It also has an effect where we can banish this card from the graveyard to target a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the graveyard and add it to the hand. This is important if we need Blue Eyes back to summon alternative from our hand, which we are playing at 1 copy now. So definitely both those effects come in handy. This is a great card. When I'm ready to craft more copies of Linkuriboh, I definitely want to do that because sometimes just summoning this guy, linking it off to Linkuriboh, and then making Blue Eyes White Dragon is an awesome play. Next, I'm running 3 copies of Dictator of D. This is a good card to get everything started because when this guy's in your hand, you can essentially special summoning by sending a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or deck to the graveyard. That gets Blue Eyes out of your deck and into the grave, which makes him accessible to True Light. Getting him into the grave makes Blue Eyes Jet Dragon live, so definitely something we want to do. Then, you can discard a Blue Eyes White Dragon or one card that mentions it to target a Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon it. That's pretty handy. And of course, if he's on the field while you control Blue Eyes monster, you can choose the attack targets for your opponent's attack, basically forcing them to attack your big Blue Eyes White Dragon or Jet Dragon if you want to activate the card to bounce one to the hand. So it makes it a really good card. Next up, I'm playing the one of Alternative White Dragon. I like this card because it it's easy to summon. If we have Blue Eyes in our hand, we just reveal it and then special summon it. You can target a monster on the field and destroy it, which is pretty cool. And this condition where it must be first special summoned, that means you only have to use this condition to special summon it that way once. Then afterward, if you special summon it that way and it's in your graveyard, you can bring it back with True Light. So it just gives us another copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon, since its name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while on the field or in the grave. And that's nice. Gives us access to a recurring pop. Another 3,000 attack monster, another Blue Eyes name. I found it just pretty good to have as a one of. Next, I am running 1 copy of Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, awesome, powerful boss monster. Almost considered bumping this up to 2 just so we can keep it from an opponent's Called by the Grave. But while it's on the field, other cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. That's nice. That includes your floodgates, which is very handy for when our opponent gets Harpy's Feather Duster later. And of course, if Blue Eyes White Dragon is on the field or in the graveyard and a card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from the graveyard or the hand. And you can do that once a turn, so you can set up a little loop here of Blue Eyes becoming Jet Dragon. Then you get another Blue Eyes out with, the True Light, and that way if Dragon gets removed, it can come back. Makes it very handy. And of course, if this card battles, you can target a card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So that's nice, very disruptive, gets rid of an extra card to push for an OTK. Very good stuff there. Next, I'm playing 2 copies of Melody of the Awakening Dragons. Considered bumping up to 3, but 2, there's other ways to get to my Blue Eyes, and it's like once I resolve one of this card, you know, I don't need to see the rest. So you discard a card, add up 2 dragon monsters with 3,000 attack and 2,500 or less defense from your hand. So that can be Blue Eyes, and then of course Alternative or Jet Dragon. All meet that criteria, so whichever ones you're looking for, go for it. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of Dragon Sign. Send a dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if that's a dragon normal monster, you can send 1 more. So we can send our vanilla Blue Eyes, of course, and then send Jet Dragon if we want it in the grave to have access to summoning it, or White Stone of Ancients, which we can use to pull Jet Dragon out of the deck, or White Stone of Legend if we want to get Blue Eyes in the hand. So just a good number of options there. I think I'd consider running another one of this before I threw in a second Melody of the Awakening Dragon. Next, I am running 1 copy of Bingo Machine Go. I know, seems crazy that I'd only run 1 copy. Probably might bump it up to 2, but I don't know. I haven't found it to be too necessary. You know, it's pretty simple card. Reveal 3 cards that are either a Blue Eyes monster or a spell or trap that mentions White Dragon, and your opponent randomly adds one of them to your hand. Um, so that's pretty cool. Gets us what we need. Definitely can search as True Light, which is something we're really looking for. And, it's a pretty good card. Next, I'm running 3 Pot of Extravagance. We don't need to go into our extra deck much in this build, so we can banish 6 cards or draw 2. That sounds great. Next, this is a card I like personally, but if you wanted to play more bingo machines or dragon shrines, this is probably the one you would cut. Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi. It's a pretty cool card that makes all non-effect monsters on the field unaffected by monster effects, so your Blue Eyes are now unaffected by monster effects. And most importantly, if your opponent special summons an effect monster while you control a face-down monster or non-effect monster, you can draw 2 cards. So if this is on the field, your opponent special summons an effect monster while you got Blue Eyes, you're just going to draw 2 cards. Also works nice because sometimes our opening play is to simply just set one of our white stones and set a bunch of back row, and then this will allow us to draw 2 cards as well. And I really like that. Between the the immunity to monster effects and just the drawing cards is pretty nice, especially because in this deck we're playing Summon Limit, so our opponent can still special summon a monster but not combo off too hard. And we get extra cards. They're stopped after 2 summons, so definitely pays off. It usually secures the game if I can get this to resolve and Summon Limit is active. And last, we're playing 1 copy of Ultimate Fusion. During the main phase, you can fusion summon a monster from your extra deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material by shuffling materials listed on it from the hand, field, or graveyard into the deck. Then destroy as many face-up cards as possible, face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Blue Eyes White Dragons and Ultimate Dragons used from the field as material. So it's a pretty nice card. We can use this to get rid of excess Blue Eyes, make a Blue Eyes fusion so that our Blue Eyes are back in the grave and we can pull them out with True Light. And it's a card that True Light can just pull out of the deck, which is pretty cool. So, nice little addition to the deck. And that is it for spells. Next, going into our trap cards, I am playing 1 copy of Fake Trap. That's because we have a lot of floodgates and powerful traps that we don't want to get destroyed. I have Solemn Judgment to, of course, prevent the lightning storms and the Harpy's Feather Duster. But just as an extra good measure, throwing in 1 copy of Fake Trap, which is a rare, is nice. It just means if your trap cards would be destroyed, you can destroy this card as a substitute for them. Pretty awesome. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. Really great in this strategy of Blue Eyes because, True Light is going to bring our Blue Eyes back constantly. And of course, between the loop of Jet Dragon and Blue Eyes, we don't really care about wiping our own board. In fact, it can benefit us sometimes if we get a white stone destroyed from it and then can trigger it at the end phase. But, disrupting an opponent's board mid-combo works really well, especially with Summon Limit. It pretty much is game-ending because once our opponent summons twice, we can Torrential wipe their board, flip up Summon Limit, no more summon. They have an open board. We have really strong attack monsters in this deck and can close out a game pretty quickly by using that strategy. Next, I'm playing the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. This just targets a Blue Eyes monster we control and makes it unaffected by card effects except its own. And can't be destroyed by battle. This is nice because we can pull it out of the deck with True Light and set it directly to the field. This card also recurs, if we get Blue Eyes, if we special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, and this card's in the graveyard, we can set it, but banish it again. Pretty good. 3 Solemn Judgment. Pay off our life points to negate a summon or a spell or trap activation. This is used to protect our True Light and our floodgates. Or, of course, just add a good opportunity to stop an opponent's turn and let us win next turn. Next, 1 copy of Solemn Strike just to fill extra deck slot. Might not be necessary with the other floodgates, but sometimes it's nice when a monster would be special summon or a monster effect is activated. Pay 15, negate it, and if you do, destroy it. Pretty good. Also works well with summon limit because, you know, if they go into an extra deck monster, you can solemn strike it. Then on the next chance, you can flip summon limit before they can summon anything else. Pretty cool. As far as our floodgates go, these are the main way we are going to win the game. 3 copies of summon limit. Neither player can summon more than 2 times per turn. We're certainly not going to be doing that, and if we can get our opponent down to only 2 summons per turn, that means our blue eyes are a lot more threatening and can probably take care of everything they are summoning. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of Skill Drain. Other than Jet Dragon and Alternative Dragon, we're not resolving any effects on the field, and even if effects are negated, these are still just 3,000 attack guys, which are great, and Skill Drain is a very powerful card, negates effects of monsters on the field, and you know, that hoses some decks, and that'll help us win. Next, Rivalry of the Warlords. It's pretty easy to set things up so that we only have dragons on our field, and this card makes it so each player can only control 1 type of monster. So if your opponent's playing multiple types, they're going to struggle with this card. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of Gozen Match. Same thing as Rivalry, except for attribute instead of type. And of course, everything here we got is a light monster, except Dictator of D, which, you know, you got to be mind. You just want to make sure you don't flip this up when Dictator of D is the only monster on your field, because if 2 monsters are on your field, then you can choose to get rid of your Dictator of D. So definitely keep that in mind, but still very powerful, very easy to set up, and can win a lot of games. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of True Light. This card is kind of the key that makes this whole strategy work. It's just Eternal Soul, but for Blue Eyes. Your opponent can't target Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone with card effects. If this card's destroyed, you destroy all monsters you control. But once per turn, you can do one of the following: either special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or graveyard, or set a spell or trap from your deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon with a different name from cards you control and in your graveyard. Another reason to mostly run these kind of Blue Eyes cards at 1 of is so that I can pull them out of the deck. Things like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Summons us Blue Eyes to get Blue Eyes on the field, poke our opponent down. We can do it during our opponent's turn, which lets us summon a lot of things even while summon limit's on the field. And, you know, if we've already got all our Blue Eyes on the field, we can just deck thin by pulling these cards out of the deck. And that makes it a pretty awesome card. And that is it for the main deck. Going into the extra deck here, we're just playing basically everything with Blue Eyes' name on it. First, we have a copy of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which is Blue Eyes White Dragon and Dragon Monster. Must either be fusion summon or special summon from your extra deck by attributing a Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with a fusion monster. We're not going to meet that criteria in this version, so we just have to fusion summon it. He's unaffected by trap cards and can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. That's pretty nice for a 3,400 attack monster. And then if this card battled, you can target a trap in your graveyard and set it to your spell and trap zone. That's nice for reusing things like Torrential Tribute. Maybe we need to get one of our floodgates that got outed. You know, lots of good stuff going on there. Next, Blue Eyes Twin Burst. This is probably one of the best ones because it's just a fusion of Blue Eyes White Dragon and Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's a good way to, you know, get Blue Eyes White Dragons off of your field so that you can use your True Light to summon more. Just get more bodies on board. This card can attack monsters up to 2 per turn, and if at the end of the damage step, when this card battled an opponent's monster and it wasn't destroyed, you can banish that monster. So pretty cool. Next, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. You're not going to really go into it, but it is an option. It's got 4,500 attack. You know, it just fits in the rare slot. If you have more copies of the Hollow, like Tyrant Dragon or Spirit Dragon, definitely cut this. Oh, Linkery both too. But anyway, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. At the end of the damage step, if this is the only face-up card you control and this card was fusion summon and attack, you can send a Blue Eyes Fusion monster from your extra to the graveyard. This card can attack again in a row. This definitely does make use of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons if you, you know, going to use them as filler, kind of like I do. But yeah, it's 4,500 attack. Pretty good card. Next, I'm running 3 Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. This is a pretty good one to make. If this card's special summon until the end of the turn, neither player can target dragon monsters you control with card effects. Also, they can't be destroyed by card effects. And once per turn during your standby phase, you can target a normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. That is Blue Eyes White Dragon, so just gets another way to get another card on the field, and a synchro that we can, you know, use our tuners and our Blue Eyes for to get some card effects going, get Blue Eyes in the grave to be summoned with True Light. Good stuff. Next, I only got 1 copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and I haven't felt the need to craft more, but it's a pretty good card. It is another level 9 synchro that we can make with Blue Eyes and the tuners. Neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Not as relevant nowadays, but it does come up against the occasional Pendulum deck. And of course, once per turn, when a card or effect in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation, which is pretty cool. And it also has a quick effect that we contribute this to synchro summon a dragon light monster from our extra deck in defense position, but destroy it at the end phase. If we summon a Jurai Silver Dragon, its effect will make it not destroyed though, so that's pretty cool. Definitely can use that to tag out of some dangerous situations. You can actually use this effect before you activate Torrential Tribute, so Spirit on 1, Torrential Tribute on 2, and get that going. Last, I'm playing a copy of Link Karibo. This is definitely the card I would bump up to 3, just because I always want to have one after resolving Extravagance, because, you know, all our white stones can become Link Karibo, and that just makes it good to use. Get the Link Karibo effect, get the white stone effect going, and of course Link Karibo is nice because when our opponent declares an attack, we contribute this card to make the attack of that monster 0. And that's it for the deck. So a replay to show the deck in action. We are going up against an opponent who is playing Kashtira. Pretty popular deck on Master Duel right now, given that it's new, and in the TCG it's pretty good. Not as good on Master Duel at the moment, but we'll see about that in the future. Looking at my opening hand, you know, not too bad. Melody of Awakening Dragon can get me some cards. Solemns is nice. Torrential is nice for disruption. The Torrential Summon Limit combo is always great. So we're probably going to play Melody, ditch a Solemn Judgment to add some cards. Hope we don't get Ash. That's probably the biggest problem with this card in this deck is it does lose pretty hard to Ash Blossom. Just a chance you have to take when you're playing a weaker deck like this though. So here we go. We're going to start by playing this, ditch one of our Solemns. They're going to play Max C here. Not bad. That's fine. Not going to do a lot of special summoning this turn. Now here I do a little misclick mistake where I only add Blue Eyes White Dragon. I thought it would want me to pick one card and then confirm and then pick a second card, but it wants you to pick both cards in the screen at the same time, so keep that in mind. I always forget that because there's some cards that don't do it like that, and then there's some cards that do it like that. So just got mixed up here. Only added Blue Eyes, which sucked because I could have added alternative, maybe Jet Dragon, but probably alternative in that case. I'm just going to set my 3 cards though. I can probably stall long enough. So here's the Kashtira Rise Heart. They summon it. They banish my guys. Here is the level 7 Ascended of Thunder. Now I would be tempted to just summon limit here, but that's a lot of attack and I don't look like I have any kind of presence coming up here soon. So I'm just going to play the Torrential now and the summon limit, wipe their board. Now that will give them an extra 5,000 from Ascended of Thunder, but they just got to pass their turn. They only got 3 cards in their hand. I don't top deck my Extravagance or True Light, but I do get another Torrential Tribute, so I can basically stall for another turn. Here comes Side Beast, banishing a card to make itself level 7. You know, I'm just going to take 700, no big deal there. Now there's True Light, things can finally get going. I'm going to set True Light and pass. Now my opponent's going to summon another Side Beast. They banish their guy. Here comes Kashtira, Shangri-La, and of course I'm just going to play Solemn Judgment because if this card would be destroyed, like by Torrential Tribute, it can just detach a material instead. So I need to negate the summon. This will end their turn though because that does count as their second summon. I can play True Light here, set my Bingo Machine Go from my deck, go into my turn here. White Stone's pretty nice. I, of course, got Bingo Machine Go. They're going to play Ash Blossom on it. Whatever. I'm just going to summon out my Blue Eyes White Dragon. Get some poke in, then set my White Stone of Ancients so that I can pop it with Torrential Tribute. And, of course, pull my Jet Dragon out of the deck. So, of course, here's the big unicorn. They're adding Birth. They're going to use Birth to special summon one of their monsters. I'm going to Torrential at this point because they've summoned 2 monsters. They're not going to be able to summon any more. My board, of course, is white. I will be using True Light to pull Blue Eyes out of my deck. And, of course, I will be using White Stone to pull Jet Dragon out of my deck. Top decking Extravagance is pretty much exactly what I wanted. You know, I get an alternative, which I don't have another Blue Eyes to add to the hand, so that card's stuck, but it goes and matches pretty nice, especially against Kashtira, because there's a lot of different cards. I'll use True Light to pull Ultimate Creature out of my deck. This is what you do with True Light when you've already played all your Blue Eyes. You just pull a card out of your deck, thin it, you know, a card that's pretty useful. This will protect them from effects. Then my opponent does something pretty crazy here. Gives me a Lava Golem, which is cool. Not sure why they did the Max C there. I imagine they like tried to play it in hopes they would have drawn from the Lava Golem, but it doesn't work like that. Anyway, they're going into Kashtira Ogre. They're going to search the trap card. What's its preparations? And of course, go into battling my Lava Golem. Definitely want this to die because I have Gozen match and I don't want to trap myself into fires only. And of course we get Jet Dragon back out. Now Jet Dragon will give them a draw of Maxi, but with Jet Dragon and the potential to summon even more cards, the opponent kind of knows they're out and they scoop. So that is it for my Blue Eyes deck profile. Like I said, Blue Eyes is an iconic DM monster that I'm a big fan of. Always fun to play. I also just like that Blue Eyes monsters just always have ridiculously high attack. It's one of my favorite things about Yu-Gi-Oh cards is just really big attack monsters and monkey battle phasing. If you like trap decks, if you like stun decks, this is a decent option to have if you want to play Blue Eyes. It's pretty cool. I appreciate y'all checking it out, and I'll catch you in the next one.